Hey guys, it's Kevin for this week of Big Brother 20, episodes 27 through 29. And this was another week that, yes, it was very predictable, but here's the thing. I don't want you guys to think that because the season is getting predictable, that I am not enjoying it. You know, maybe I've come off that way, and hell, I've even convinced myself that I don't like the season as much, but here's the thing. While the season is getting predictable, that's not saying there isn't some really good gameplay going on, because there still is a fair share of really good gameplay from the level 6 side of the house, and there still is a lot of entertaining stuff going on. And while this week wasn't really all that eventful and was one of those more you know, just cleaning house type weeks, it was still interesting to see overall. It's very good to see level 6, you know, continue to dominate the house and things like that. There is a lot of stuff that pissed me off about this week, especially on the Haleigh Faysal side of things, but we're just going to get into it right now. Not really a lot to say overall. First of all, the HOH comp was awful. I really did not like this HOH comp at all. It was one of those things where, like, it's like a ball pit or whatever, and they had, like, one shot, and they had to do it within, like, 30 minutes or something like that. It was a very strange competition overall. It was one of those things where I think they could have easily just had Julie be there and do it on a live show and get that over with. Then they really needed to wait for Endurance. It just did not really make a lot of sense to me why they had to do that. But either way, Angela does end up winning, and this was interesting because this is the first time this season that someone has won their second HOH. Something that's been really unique about the season thus far is that every single winner has been someone who had yet to win. So I was really interested in seeing what Angela was going to do. I really liked her previous HOH reign. You know, even though the hacker twist was implemented, she still let the week play out the way she wanted it to, and I was looking forward to see what she did here. She did not disappoint me. I thought she did a very good job this week with her HOH, and one of the things I think Angela does a very good job with is, even if she isn't all that interested, she tries her best to listen to everyone. She tries her best to give everyone's input, and I think she did a very good job with that. However, she kind of already made herself a target, because as we know, her and Tyler went to Fessy and Haleigh with that fake Final Four. The problem is that Haleigh and Fessy thought that this was completely real, and immediately Haleigh is very concerned because she sees Angela dancing with, you know, happy dancing with, like, Brett and Kaycee and Tyler, and she knows for sure that this is not the correct four. But once again, the thing that's really infuriating is that even though she knows this, she doesn't do anything about it. She doesn't try to consult Angela on it. She doesn't try to figure out what's going on. She doesn't try to give her some sort of backup plan. She just kind of dismisses it, and I really don't know why. That's the thing that's so annoying about Haleigh, is that I see so much potential in her. There are so many things that she could be doing that I think could work really well in her favor, but anytime that she gets any sign of what's actually going on in the house, she completely ignores it. She does nothing about it. She will, like, briefly bring it up, and it's not just her. Rockstar did the same thing. Bayleigh was kind of doing the same thing. Almost all of Faute kept doing this, and I don't know why they're so naive. I don't know why they keep making this error. You would think this far in the game they would understand it, but no. Still, so many weeks into the game, even though Haleigh knows what's going on, she still doesn't really want to do anything about it, and that did very much annoy me here. And I do think it's one of the main reasons why she did make herself a target. I think had she had known, I think things could have played out really differently for her this week. I think she could have honestly found herself in a much better spot. But again, because the fact that she just let Fessy get rid of Scottie, and she didn't try to do anything about it, because again, she knew very well that Brett is not actually on their side, even though she keeps, like, cozying up with him. She knows very well that Brett is not working with them. You know, if she would have just said that to Fessy, then maybe things could have played out differently last week. But no, here we are. Those two are the only people left, and, you know, basically that's why their outcome is the way it is. But going back to level 4, I think they did a very good job once again this week with somehow being able to you know, still not make themselves a target, because again, Angela could have possibly done that, but if Haleigh was just a little bit smarter and Fessy was a little bit smarter, this could have really played out badly for her. But again, because of the fact that really they're on no one's radar right now, you know, this played out perfectly for her. Everyone wants Fessy out of the house. Everyone wants Fessy gone, and Fessy really does not do a good job of trying to convince everyone why he should stay. If anything, he just makes himself more of a target. I mean, constantly throughout the week, he's getting mad at Haleigh for the dumbest shits. He doesn't want her to talk to anyone else. He doesn't want her to really, like, bond with anyone else. It seems like he is very sort of, you know, he's trying to be like protective of her, but if anything, it comes across as kind of creepy, and it comes across as he's very like controlling. Like, he doesn't want her to really do anything that is not in his best interest, and this is the main reason why I don't really think these two have a shot outside of the house. I think Haleigh has made it very clear that she does not really like him that way. Sure, they maybe have alluded to a couple times, but I think that's mainly been through the brilliant work of the Big Brother producers and things like that. You know, if they want you to say something, they will do everything in their power to get you to say it. So I think that's basically why she was able to, you know, that's why she has said a few times that she does care for Fessy. I think she does care for him because Haleigh's a very good person in that way, and she's just someone who is very caring and nice to people. But I don't think she's interested in having a relationship with Fessy, and I think this week, you know, definitely shows that more than ever, especially when it comes to her and Brett talking. I just don't really think she cares about Fessy as much as he seems to think so, and that's all he really seems to care about. He is upset that he's the target, but the problem with Fessy is that he's just too dumb. He can't pick up on the fact that he is the target, because basically he hears Angela talking about Sam and how they possibly want to get Sam out, so he figures that Haleigh is going to be on that block. He thinks as a pawn, he has no worries whatsoever that he will possibly be in danger. I don't fucking know why at this point he's not even allied with them. It's pretty obvious that they're not working with them. They have not talked strategy or anything. So obviously they're not working with you. I don't understand why Fessy can't get that through his thick skull, but they're not working with him. And basically because of this, he and Haleigh do end up going up. And, you know, Sam was someone that could have possibly been a good backdoor target, but what Level 6 did very well is they kind of had the assumption that someone might try to get back in the house, because, you know, there are a few weeks left in the game. They know there's time for that to happen, so they want to get Sam out when they know that when she leaves, she will stay, you know, she will, you know, remain gone. And, I think that's definitely a very good mindset to have. I think Sam at this point is a liability either way. I think they're definitely going to get rid of her soon. Like, she's going in, like, the next double eviction. Oh, yeah, she's toast. Like, she's definitely going then. But I do think they made a wise choice in keeping her this week. You know, keeping Fessy and Haleigh, I don't think would be a very good idea. It would not look good for Angela. It would not look good for Tyler, because Kaycee and Brett would probably start to grow a little bit suspicious if they kept them in the house, thinking maybe they're working with them. And obviously, you want to keep that level 4 alliance intact. There really have been no cracks in the foundation thus far. You know, why try to muddy the waters now? And I think they did a very good job with trying to get at least blood in their hands as possible, but also doing what I think was the best possible move for their game. And really, the only other thing to talk about in terms of Sunday, which not a lot really went down, honestly, is everything going on with Tyler and Angela. These two, like, Haleigh and Faysal, when they look back on this season, this is an example of how to handle a showmance, which is not to act on it. You have those emotions, sure. You can tell that they have feelings for each other, but they're not doing anything about it. Why? Because it's going to make them a target. They know that they're going to get distracted. They're going to lose sight of what's at the end. And I like that Tyler and Angela, even though they are affectionate with each other, and Tyler has expressed the fact that he does want to date Angela possibly after the game, he isn't really doing anything about it, and I hope it stays this way. I'm really hoping that they don't make this a huge storyline in the show. You know, you got that confession out of them. I know this is something that a lot of people have been waiting for. I personally think, yeah, they do work very well together. I think that they do have very good chemistry, But at the same time, I've said this a million times, the showmance is not what matters. It's all about what is your best incentive in this game, and their best incentive is to just simply be in level 4 and not let this showmance jeopardize, level 4, because obviously those 4, like I said, are rock solid. They work very well together, and I'm glad that Tyler and Angela are not doing anything to compromise that. So I think they did a very good job with this. I was glad to see that this was the only thing we heard about it. They could have easily made this a huge storyline, but no, we gotta have more time for Haleigh and Fessy. And again, it's not really Haleigh's fault that she got into this whole thing with Fessy. I think it was mainly just, he was on her constantly, and I do think she has sort of feelings for him, but again, I don't think it's, like, nearly as deep and as long-term as he really wants it to be. I think Tyler and Angela is a much stronger connection. Just the fact that she said that she's someone who is not really an open book, and she tries to be a little bit more quiet about things, and the fact that Tyler is starting to get her to open up more, that just tells me right there that they definitely do have something, and I do think they are going to go pretty far. But again, that's not really a huge storyline in the show, so that's really all I'm going to say about it, and I'm glad that that's all the show really discussed about it this week. Other than that, that's really all that goes down on Sunday. And Wednesday, not a ton really happening either. The biggest thing that goes down on Wednesday is, of course, that veto. Haleigh really wants Fessy to win the veto, Fessy vice versa. But I like what Angela told Haleigh here. She tells her that even if she wants to, possibly win that veto, her staying on the block is her best move in the game, because she will remain a target. And sure, obviously, if Fessy comes down, then Haleigh's going to be the main target, but again, remember, they had that plan to possibly go after Sam, and I do actually think Angela does have a point here, because if Haleigh remains on the block with someone who is stronger than her, then she can find a way to, she can find her way to sway everyone's votes and prove why she needs to stay in the house. And I do think that Haleigh has a lot more people behind her, even though Brett, like I said, is not on their side. He and Haleigh do have a pretty good, social connection. Again, I don't think strategically he's on her side. In terms of emotional stuff, I do think those two work very well together. She could get Sam on her side if she wanted to, so, there's a lot of possibilities there, but that really doesn't go much of anywhere, because, we'll talk about the veto in a little bit, but the veto comp in general, I hated this. This is honestly one of the worst veto comps I have seen in the longest time. Usually at this point, we have, like, that really cool, like, weather forecast one where they're reporting the weather, and they have to try to do it while fighting off all these, tropical storms and shit, and those are usually a lot of fun, but instead, no, we gotta replace it with this really dumb alien thing where they have to catch, like, aliens in their mouth, and if they do that, then, if they catch a certain amount, then they will somehow win. I don't know, this was stupid. It was honestly really disgusting. I honestly did feel bad for every single one of them. I don't know why Big Brother did something like this. I understand they like to torture these house guests, but it's not entertaining. It's just kind of disgusting. Like, there's a certain amount of torture I can take, and this was just, I did not like this at all. But either way, Kaycee does end up winning this veto, and she has no doubts whatsoever. She's going to keep nominations the same. That's exactly how it does play out, and before we do get to that, Fessy, I thought, was very rude to Kaycee. Really, once again, did not do a good job of showing why he should remain in the house, because he's being all rude to her, saying that this is the first time she won, trying to rub it in her face, that this was her first veto, and that she's never won before this, and I understand that he was trying to maybe be like, oh, wow, you won your first veto, but honestly, he came off a bit patronizing to me. He came off as like, oh, I'm better than you because I've won all these comps, and this is your first one, when he really doesn't realize how many strings Kaycee has been pulling with Level 6, and how instrumental she's been in many of the evictions that have taken place, many of which have been Fessy's allies. But like I said, that's really all that goes down on Wednesday. Not really a lot to talk about there. The majority of the stuff to talk about really does go down on Thursday, which actually a lot of stuff did happen, and that's mainly because, like I said, Sunday and Wednesday were pretty uneventful in terms of content. Thursday, though, there was actually a lot of stuff that went down. First of all, I really want to talk about Tyler because Tyler is in a really good position right now, but he's in a very similar position to Paul. As I said last week, you know, he has those final twos with everyone, and now he has another one because Brett wants to be in his final two and things like that. So you think that, you know, now he has like 5 different final two pairings. He has one with Brett, one with Kaycee, one with Angela, one with JC, and one with, I believe, Sam. Yeah, Sam. He has one with Sam as well. So those are his 5. And JC could not be more off with what's actually going on because he seems to think that Angela and Kaycee are against Brett and Tyler and that they need to go after them when he doesn't seem to, you know, get that he doesn't seem to grasp the fact that those 4 are in fact working together and that he is going way before they are. I think JC is definitely going to be on the chopping block soon. And again, I do think JC is doing a good job with trying to do what benefits him the most. Again, he just doesn't seem to understand what's actually going on in the game. I don't understand why it's so hard for him because, again, it's pretty obvious. Like, it's real simple. Who's hanging out all the time? Who's talking all the time? Who does Tyler have the most connections with? Just think about it, JC. I know that he's playing both sides right now, kind of playing the Andy game in that way, but again, he's not on top of things like Andy was. Like, Andy did it very... And I used to not like Andy, mind you. I used to not like Andy in Big Brother 15, but I've really softened up to him in the past couple seasons when really thinking about it. What Andy did a very good job with back then is that he really did a good job of knowing what was going on every single week. Anything that went down, you know, he was loyal to his side of the house, always reported it back to him. JC is not really doing that. He is a very messy game right now, and I don't think he's going to be able to clean it up. I think he just, again, he's just a little too confused with what's actually going on, and I think that is going to hurt him in the game. As far as Fessy goes, like I said, Fessy just continued to be a complete douche to Haleigh. Anytime he saw her and Brett hanging out, he did not like that. He was not enjoying that at all. Brett was wondering if they were in a showmance, but Haleigh was, like, denying it. So that did go down. And that's really all there is to talk about in terms of that. Then, of course, we do get to the eviction, which I don't know what Fessy was thinking here. Fessy, again... This is your time to try to prove why you should be safe. I understand we want good TV. I understand we want to see someone out everyone, but for Fessy, this is not at all what he needs to be doing. This is not at all in his best interest. If anything, this is one of the worst things you can do, is to try to out everyone and try to show, okay, this is why we targeted you, and that's exactly what he does. He makes up this lie that, like, Angela is not trustworthy, and that for some reason he has this fixation with Angela wearing wedding rings at the grocery store. I mean, I really don't know what's going through this dude's head. Again, you literally are on the block, and you have a chance of leaving, and for some reason, he's not doing anything. It's like he just wanted to throw it for Haleigh, which honestly, I would not be surprised if he did that. Fessy obviously does end up leaving in a very frustrating interview with Julie. He does admit that what he did with Scottie was wrong, but again, he doesn't seem to be that regretful. You know, Julie, for some reason, kept bringing up him and Haleigh, and I'm like, that's not going to happen. That's not even a thing. I don't really think those two are going to survive, and that's everything that goes down there. But, of course, the big thing in this episode is, of course, who ended up returning to the game. And I was very happy with the way this competition played out, because in years past, it's either been that really boring crapshoot that we had in Big Brother 16, or we had one of those things where it was a double competition, where, yes, we had house guests trying to get back in the game, but you also had an HOH competition going on simultaneously. This I liked a lot more because the house guests weren't even watching from the sidelines. Like, they didn't know who it was until that person walked in the door, and I actually really enjoyed that a lot. Scottie does end up winning this competition, which I was really surprised about. The competition seemed designed for Fessy to win, and I was worried for a little bit that maybe Fessy could get back in, but no, he honestly failed really bad. I legitimately thought he was going to fall through that railing because he just seemed so out of his element, even though, again, this was kind of, like, made for him to win. Like, this was definitely his game, but Scottie did end up winning, a very deserving win overall. I did really like the jury scene where we saw Bayleigh and Rockstar and Scottie kind of talk about how stupid they all were. Rockstar, especially with her, you know, giving her answer to Tyler and things like that, which somehow I did not pick up on that when I reviewed it. I know I'm stupid, I'm sorry, but somehow I didn't pick up on that initially. But I did like that they were pissed at Fessy. I like that Fessy kind of apologized to Scottie, and I think this was a good move for him overall. I think Scottie still does have a lot of potential in the game. Trying to ally with Tyler, though, not really the way to go. Not really the way to play things out here. But either way, that's basically how this week does end overall. So, of course, moving forward, there are definitely a lot of possibilities here. Scottie coming back in the game, I think, is both the best and worst case scenario for Haleigh, because on one hand, this is someone she can ally with. On the other hand, this is literally her only ally left in the game, because Sam did another one of those hinky vote things where she voted for Haleigh. I think this was completely personal on Sam's end. I don't think this is one of those things where she was trying to throw a wrench into, you know, the votes or whatever. I think she legitimately doesn't like Haleigh. She wanted her out, and that's exactly why she voted. Honestly, Sam's kind of a roller coaster at this point, so it's really hard to, you know, figure out where she's coming from, but, you know, I do think that in terms of what we've seen from Sam, I think the narrative lines up that that's probably why she voted for her. But either way, like I said, Scottie and Haleigh need to link up. He does not need to be working with Tyler and all them. That is definitely not the direction he needs to be going. I don't know how much longer Scottie's going to have in the game. I don't know if his lifespan would have been that much different versus what ended up playing out. But we'll have to see the way things do turn out. In terms of level 6, like I said, they're absolutely dominating this game right now, and I like that, but I do want to see things change up just a little bit. I always like it when things don't always go the way they're supposed to, just because it keeps things interesting. Like, I understand we really want to see level 6 do well. I do as well, but I also want to see, you know, things go a little topsy-turvy, and maybe just see that in the next couple weeks. That'd be fun to watch. You know, there's not many weeks left in the game, but I am enjoying what I'm seeing overall. There are definitely a lot of possibilities moving forward, but I do know who the HOH is, but I'm not going to get into right now. But either way, that's really it for this review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys saw this week overall. Left your thoughts, and we'll see you guys in my next video, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.